This video's for the young guys. I'm gonna say the 18 to 35s. Let's talk about voting. I was in a live last night and there was this 20-something who wanted to come up and discuss. Now he said he's gonna vote conservative. He was open to discussion though, which was nice to see. But this is why I want to talk to you youngins. My concern about the 20-something was that although he had good intent, he was stuck in conservative rhetoric. It's a time for change. Pierre's gonna do good things with our resources. Yada yada. And these all come from little snippets, whether it's at a rally or a presser where Pierre just regurgitates his slogans. But my worry is that just like down south, Pierre is trying to unnecessarily increase fear amongst your demographic, specifically that of the palm-colored variety, young YT males, and how it's so much more difficult for you. He preys on insecurity, wants to create a problem so that you think he's solving it. But have you read his plan? I'm sorry, his collage? There is no plan for you. Oh, he's gonna make you think there is a plan, but there is no plan for you. And my worry is that this demographic has not actually read the platforms of any of the parties and are just feeding on the outrage. Outrage doesn't sustain a government because once elected, that outrage has to translate into action and policy. There is no policy, and the action will be questionable. And then what happens? Like we've seen down south, that outrage was aplenty. And has everyday life improved for your demographic? No, it hasn't. Oh, I know, people say, give it time. And even though it's felt like years, it's only been a few months. And look at how things have gotten worse. Every party's gonna put forward what they believe, whether it's true or not. But it's up to you to actually look into things. Because if you're voting for a party based on one thing they say, but you haven't looked at all the other stuff, you might actually be doing yourself a big disservice for change. So when we're trying to steer people away from voting conservative, it's because despite what you want to think, we actually look at everything and everybody. Because you may not think that something applies to you. You may think you're safe until you're not. Anybody at any time could become a member of the disability community. Anybody at any time could need health care. There's a lot of what ifs that exist. So please, don't just vote because that's how your daddy voted. Don't just vote based on the flags and the rhetoric. Actually go read the platforms. I'm going to give you an example of conservative talking points and how they just kind of make shit up. Trigger warning.
For some people, Mark Carney does embody change, right? Not for everyone. Some people don't buy it, but for some people, he does.
The rabbit that the Liberal campaign's been trying to pull out of the hat is exactly that. To say to at least a portion of the pro-change voters, this is change. I don't think that's very credible. The same team, the platform was a Trudeau platform.
That's not true. It was a Carney platform. It was not written for Justin Trudeau. That is simply not true.
Listen, this is a matter of, is that an objective CBC fact check statement? I think subjectively, what I will say is...
You can say it subjectively, but objectively, it is accurate to say that
it reads to me like a Trudeau platform.
Well, that's fine. It can read that way, but that is not...
I don't know. I guess it reads to the CBC differently, but it reads to me like a Trudeau platform, which is got interventionist, more spending, implicitly higher taxes, not addressing the fundamental issues around productivity or competitiveness, the flight of capital, the flight of investment, the decline in per capita GDP. These are the underlying issues in affordability, and I'm just saying, I think there is a tension in what's left of a swing electorate around that.
That's fine. But what my point was, because there was a conservative talking point emerging that this platform had been written for Justin Trudeau. That is not true.
Well, it reads to me like it was.
You can read it that way, but it was not written for Mr. Trudeau.
I gave you the trigger warning. Ken Babe, climbing out from under his rock, who seems to love being on the CBC and schmoozing with Rosemary, until she didn't agree with his point and then he tried to say that it's a CBC talking point. That is what conservatives do. They make shit up and then they have a temper tantrum. Oh, the stuttering also. Inability to form an argument in the moment means you're trying to figure out how to argue it because you don't have an argument. I don't know if a lot of people have had jobs where you have a boss and there's a certain level of expectation. And so you do that because it's an expectation of your job. And then all of a sudden you get another boss who takes a look at the workflow, how things are going, and makes changes because it's a different boss. That's what's happened with the Liberals. Stop blaming Justin because that's done. There's a new boss in town. But let's continue.
Marianne.
Absolutely, it was not written for Mr. Trudeau. In fact, it's Mr. Carney's handprints on that. And I think that when you have a leader who has managed crisis, including that in 2008 under when you were in government.
Sucker punch. Because the cons loved him. The cons wanted him. He did not want to be a con. And now that they don't have him, they think Carney's the worst. It's kind of like when you're in elementary school and you invite somebody to a sleepover that you really wanted to come because you think they're just neat, but they don't want to come to your sleepover. And then you go to school and say how awful they are and you never liked them anyway, and then make up a whole bunch of lies and stomp your feet. That's the conservatives. One more sucker punch and then we'll go.
A lot of Liberal friends, but 3 months ago, you guys were telling Canada that the retail carbon tax was necessary to save the planet, that the capital gains tax increase was necessary for social equity in Canada. I mean, you guys have done so many flip-flops on so many issues. I think voters have a right to say, what the hell do you actually believe?
Well, I think that's the change that you're talking about.
3 months ago, you guys were saying Canada's broken.
That's a good NDP singer. The cons didn't like the carbon tax, mostly because they don't believe in climate change. The carbon tax was creating a lot of division, even though I'm sure those people are going to miss their rebate checks. And so in reaction to that, the new boss got rid of it. Now, could there be other things that come down the pipeline? I don't mean a pipeline. Probably, because we're under the Paris Accord. All I'm saying, young voters of the white male variety, don't just go by talking points. Read the platforms. Don't listen to the bullshit being said about Carney, especially by Liz Lettucehead Truss. She got her own issues. The reality is that Carney, when there was a worldwide dip in the economy, and when Jason Kenney was a Conservative MP, before he wrecked Alberta, Carney helped minimize the damage. Pierre did nothing. Nothing. Now, I know this is probably not going to change the minds of part of the demographic being targeted by the Conservatives, selling you a false dream, but maybe this will get to their mama, who is reasonable, or one of their friends. Or maybe it is you. Pierre is trying to sell you magic beans. The magic beans are rotten. He has nowhere to plant them. All he can give you is manure. Good luck tomorrow.